Okay, everyone, welcome to Treehouse number 22. And I know why everyone's here to check out what's coming up with version 6. So I'll just pass it straight over to Alex and go from there.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yep.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to share today. Well, first of all, hi. I didn't see you for a long time, so I almost forgot how to do that. So a little welcome. Then we're going to go back to V1 for a little context. And third, we're going to answer a question that kind of hangs in the community. Did it take us so long? We're going to talk about advantages of V6. We're going to do a little demo. And we're going to have a Q&A. So let's get to it. So this is a screenshot. I probably showed that already from March 27. It was a send pile back in the day. So basically, that's when Business Catalyst end of life have announced. When Business Catalyst announced end of life, we had this presentation where we presented our plan on how we're gonna tackle the challenges that we have with the BC EoL. So, and this was our plan. So basically to automate the migration, the actual migration process, and also to make the adaptation easy for the end users and for former BC partners. And the goals we had, and fast forward to the V1, to Treepl CMS version 1, is, oh, you know what? I forgot from the welcome. Sorry about that. This is we moved to a new office back in January, so welcome you from a new office, and I had to start with that. And it was back in January, so there's a little more room here for us to grow. And there are kind of several infrastructure upgrades we did and advantages we got with this new building. Well, it has like 3 internet providers working at the same time, and it has 2 electricity stations. So if one goes out, the other kicks in. So it was kind of important for us to keep the office always operating. Also, you're going to see people come in because it's morning here, so there's going to be some activity in the background. Yeah. So back to the presentation. So yeah, this was our plan, and this was our starting point for planning Treepl. So the goals we had that we set in the very beginning, fast forward to July 18th when we presented version 1, and many of you have joined, within 2 weeks after this presentation, before we even gave you anything to play with. We had these 3 goals that we were set to achieve with Treeple CMS. And the first one was to build a CMS that you guys as former BC partners and us as a former BC partners always wanted and deserved, while involving former BC partners in the development from the very start. So this is how, from this goal, we have the public backlog emerged, we have all the presentation, all the communication that we guys have with you, all the feedback, Slack, forum, everything. And the second goal was to build a migration service that would allow thousands of BC sites to be transferred seamlessly to Treepl at affordable cost. And the third goal was to create an opportunity for every partner to present the migration from Business Catalyst to Treepl as a value for money upgrade option. So this was our goal. These were our goals, and the plan we had on how to achieve those was to take. So we started. We looked at at our logs. We started the first line of code that was committed to Treepl on the Treepl project, Treepl CMS project, was May 10th. I think it's May 10th or May 4th. May 4th, and Vlad can correct me on that. So before that, we were working in prototypes, and we were working on the concept and how we're going to achieve those goals that I mentioned earlier. And so 3 years ago, exactly 3 years ago, we committed the first line of code. So, and the plan was to take something existing with an open source code, which was Umbraco, and use it as a core, use it as a base, and develop the custom code. With development of custom code, we add features and new functionality to it that we needed for the BC equivalent functionality and for the migration. Plus, we had our own admin on top of it. Well, some people didn't like our plan. It doesn't matter. And a lot of you enjoyed that and bought into that. The thing with so basically Treeple CMS is Umbraco plus custom code from the very beginning. It was, and the stack of technologies that we chose, this part over here, it basically came with Umbraco. So we didn't really have a choice there. So, and the Amazon, everything is hosted at Amazon. So this was our plan. So this is what we've been doing for basically going forward this was our plan for the entire BC functionality from the very beginning. So, and the next how we progressed, it was to we were shrinking down the Umbraco code basically and growing the custom code, replacing the Umbraco pieces with our own custom code. And eventually we plan to completely erase the Umbraco and replace it with a custom code. And which almost happened. I think we reported a year ago that we had like less than 15% left. And this was a genius plan. It was a phenomenal plan, and it worked. That entire plan helped us to grow from a startup to self-sustainable business. We're super proud of it. It's wonderful. Great. So now next is, in the beginning of 2020, the question number one that we had when we released e-commerce, if you recall, was what is Treeple after the BC EoL? So we would discuss that a lot. I don't know if you're aware, we have a lot of meetings, we have a lot of discussions. The Treeple CMS team has at least, like in the very worst scenario, the entire team would meet 4 times a week. It's it's like on everybody's meeting. So I have a lot of meetings with Vlad. I have a lot of meetings with the backend team, and we groom a lot. We discuss a lot, and everybody's heavily involved in Treeple's future, in Treeple's current challenges, reading through forums and everything. So we spend a lot of time in discussions, like tons of time. We have a separate tracker in our tracking system for meetings and discussions. So this is the thing, we started to have some extra time in the beginning of 2020, and this is the thing that we've been discussing a lot. And plus, you probably know me, I want things now, and I really like to talk about things that we that are coming next, about the upcoming opportunities. So the thing is, the answer to that question was that we would be a challenger. So we would be a challenger for the general market after the business capitalist end of life. And being a challenger, we understood that we have to bring something new to the market. We have to bring some serious advantages give some serious advantages to our partners, so they'd be able to sell Treeple. And especially, like, there's one thing that we discussed that we thought would give us a growth is give reasons, have enough reasons for bigger brands, recognizable global brands, to choose Treeple as a platform for their websites. So you've probably seen that screenshot, but in a little other design. So we did research a lot the competition, and these are the numbers that you can get from the internet. These are the top 10 CMSs, and WordPress is number one, of course. But this is basically our competition after Business Catalyst end of life, and this is what we looked at. So we asked ourselves what will give us most advantages compared to these guys after, starting October 2021. 2020, starting March 26, if we go back to beginning of 2020, because we didn't have the BC EoL extension back in the day. So when we discussed that, and I must admit that it mostly emerged from the team, is that what would answering this question, the most advantages would come from a different stack of technologies. But that's a very, well, that's not an answer you'd like to hear from your team, because even if you go back to our top 10 CMSs available on the market right now, practically changing the stack of technologies for these guys, for top 10 CMSs, top 100 CMSs, I guess, changing stack of technologies now is practically impossible. It would be extremely expensive, and it can bring a lot of risks. As you know, I mentioned that in our early presentations. One of the facts about our competitors after BC EoL is that they were developed 10 years ago or later. So most of them carry legacy code, and it's a huge piece of software with a lot of legacy. So, but this was especially Vlad and the backend, Igor from the backend architects. They were very convincing about the stack of technologies, and we did and stack of technologies is basically programming language in the database. So we did research. Everything is available out there, and compared to what we have right now, starting from PHP, Ruby, .NET, everything. And we also researched the progress of each technology. So, and there was a lot of back and forth. Let's put it that way. So we had a lot of emotional brainstorming and all that. And you probably understand me. My point is, like, I want features. I want features to be developed. I want partners to be happy, and I want to deliver things every 3 weeks and get the features delivered that have most votes. So I want partners to be happy. So happier partners means more websites, means more income. So from a business point perspective, I didn't like that idea. I really didn't like changing stack of technologies at this point, and nobody does it for obvious reasons. So, and this is what we ended up with. So we were developing the Treeple as usual, but we would have these meetings and discussions. And I must say, we did have issues with this stack of technologies. Like some sites were some performance issues, but they were tackleable, they were solvable. And you probably remember we had a performance update in the beginning of 2020. So there were things, but there was nothing like we could have done with this stack of technologies anything that would be competitive compared to other CMSs. So on February 27th, after one of those meetings, we basically built a concept on those two papers, and you see Vlad smiling there. So this is what we wanted, especially the developers wanted the Treeple CMS to be if we had to choose to basically build it from scratch. There was this business challenge with that smile on the face. Neo, actually, it says Neo right there. Huh. So this is the quantity of live sites, how we projected that in 2020. So we thought that we would see the general positive growth 6 months prior to the BC EoL. So if you remember, not original, but first postponed BC EoL date was March 22nd, 26th, 2021, month ago. So, and how we projected that is the 6 months prior to BC EoL. And again, we took that from the numbers that BC gave us, and I'm thankful for that they give us statistics on the sites left in BC. So we would see a spike in the last 6 months, like a bigger spike, and even bigger spike 3 months prior to Business Catalyst end of life. When COVID happened, so it was right after, like several weeks after this beautiful picture was taken, this projection has changed. So we understood that, okay, we will have the spikes start a little later. And there was another factor. So as you can see on the left, this is a quantity of live websites, and this is the timeline. And if we take this curve, so if we take complexity of sites versus timeline, it would look pretty much the same. So based on the statistic that we saw from the BC, and based from what we hear from partners as well, is that they tend to leave the more complex websites on the later date. It's stable, bigger clients, so we understood that we would have complex websites coming later, closer to the BC end of life. So if we were to change the stack of technologies, if possibly with me against that, we would have to do this before Q1 2021 with the new BC EoL date. So I don't remember what next slide is, but let's do it anyway. So basically, V6 is all about the new stack of technologies. So we took a leap, and after the BC EoL, we thought to split it into 2 phases somehow. So we had our discussions about that. But after the BC EoL has been extended, we did assign our architect, Igor, to work on the new core, on the new stack of technologies. So, and the V6 is all about that. Now, the way how it worked behind the scene was quite well. It was quite stressful because we actually had a team of developers working on the older version, on the older stack of technologies, and they were developing features for 6 months. Even more than 6 months. And we had Igor developing a new core, a completely new core on the newer stack of technologies. So we basically had 2 CMSs built at the same time. And back in November, beginning of November, the team has joined Igor to build the platform entirely to change all existing modules and build them on top of the new stack of technologies. Now back to question of, that's answering the question, why did it take us so long? We thought we're going to make it on February. Unfortunately, we had to postpone. So now, what did we choose as the new stack of technologies compared to the previous one? So we went with the .NET 5 and PostgreSQL. And if you're interested, you can Google that. .NET 5, I think the latest version was released like it's like January or something. So we're always going to keep the latest version running. .NET 5 is the latest. It's the latest and greatest from Microsoft. This is the program language that they invest a lot and they support a lot. It evolved from it moved from .NET Core 3.1 to .NET 5. So if you're interested, you can look this up, and maybe it will be helpful for some of your presentations. So, and PostgreSQL, that's what we chose for the database. And I'll explain. I have a list of advantages that these two will provide to us. So, for example, well, one of the things which is not really related to not related a lot to the new stack of technologies is that it would be easy for us to unfold Treeple on any other cloud service. So whether it's Microsoft Azure, DigitalOcean, Google Cloud, or anything. So if there's a need, if we decide to give an option, so we can easily do that. Another thing would be another advantage that comes at hand is a remote database. I discussed that project, shared that project a little bit with some of you. The idea is to basically allow users to use a Treeple website, the site owners, to have a Treeple website but keep the database remotely, stored remotely on any server of their choice. So all the data, like CRM data or data that they select, can be stored externally but rendered in the website that they build in Treeple. Another thing came from Lod was the GraphQL analog. So for those of you familiar with GraphQL, so this is some serious extra advantages for developers in the future. And another one I'd like to mention is we're now able to leverage 100% of AWS capabilities. Basically, you can build mega sites in Treeple. I mean, Netflix size websites in Treeple. So the horizontal scale of websites is now fully available to us. Now let me go with share another advantage that may not be obvious to you right now, but is very important to us, and that would give us one of those bigger advantages for a platform. So multi-threading. So there's a single threading and a multi-threading. This is a data processing types, as I understand it, right? So I'm giving you a very simplified version. So this is how data processing works usually basically for every CMS available out there. So the process works the way that if you go you open a tab, you type in the URL, you click enter. When you click enter, the query goes to the server, and the server sends the get data to the database. And this is how the get data processing works. So imagine you have 4 elements on the website. It can be modules, liquid, doesn't matter. So we have, for the sake of the demo, we have 4. And they come in a line. So you send header, you send menu, you send module list, you send footer. It should be vice versa. The header comes first, then the menu, then the module list, then the footer. And the database renders it, so receives it first, and it comes one by one. So this is sequential. And it renders it back. So this is how it works. And it works in every CMS out there, especially if it's PHP. And so this is a single threading, and it works fine. But what multi-threading is that process looks a little different. The difference is that when the server sends the the query to the database, it sends those header menu. The 4 modules queries are sent simultaneously, and it renders it. So basically, it's 1 step instead of 4. What's the advantage of it? Like, why do we need that? Why is it important? Well, at first, it helps us to optimize the usage of the database server and the hosting server. And we basically can build bigger sites that work faster. So instead of, and again, in a simplified version, each query would go on each core of the server rather than being that in line. So that would be a very huge thing for performance-wise, especially on the bigger websites if you have a lot of elements on the page. Okay, so the question some of you may have is, will the pricing change since we have this huge update and huge change? The answer is no, and the speed change, the answer is yes. So let me show you a little demo now. I have a white screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good. Good. So we have a version 6 on the left and version 5 on the right, and I'm gonna take you through little admin changes first. As you can see, we don't have rebuild it index anymore, and the reason is it's because it's instant. So there's no need for that. It just happens in the background, and it doesn't take time. It's just instant. That's the first thing that we're able to achieve with the new infrastructure, with the new stack of technologies and the infrastructure. We did add some UI changes based on your feedback again, especially for those who are working on the smaller laptops, the developers. You're able to shrink down collapse the admin menu over here. Yeah, this is the link has remained. It just changed, the icon has moved a little bit. The nice editor, we have renamed it. We have renamed it to on-site editor, and we moved it to the bottom. Now, if you have a custom admin menu, customized admin menu, you're not going to see this change. I mean the order. So the name's going to be changed. The reason for the nice editor name change is obvious, and it goes back to the BC times. So back in the BC days, Business Catalyst used to have an ICE editor and context editor. So we built an alternative for that, and we called it NICE, which meant Nice in Context Editor. That was the abbreviation. So it doesn't really apply to Treeple because it's not an alternative to anything. So we call it an on-site editor. And there's also another reason for that. There's actually a project standing behind this, behind the on-site editor. We're going to talk about it later, not in this presentation. Yeah, things are coming for this functionality. And another little change is we moved SEO to the settings. So we used to have SEO settings here. Now they're moved to here. Let me show you a little bit of speed performance improvement. So if we go, so we have, this is existing website. And so let's take, there was a big one. I think it was National Championship results. Yeah, this one it's a custom module that has 1,257 items. What do we have here? Yeah, let me do, you know what, let me do this. Let me first open this and then this. I have to log in here, right? No. Yeah. Well, it kind of worked faster. So if we go to, let's go to settings. Settings, version 5, settings, version 6. Again, the speed of the load speed, and try to duplicate a custom module. So we duplicate it here. We call it copy, duplicate, and then we duplicate it in version 6, duplicate, and here we go. It's ready. It's here. It's been duplicated on version 6, and we're already able to edit it, go forward, go next, and do anything we want. As you can see in version 5, for some reason it's working. Well, we know the reason, because it's a huge custom module. The next thing I wanted to show you was the export. Well, I'm kind of happy that this lags and not this lags. So I mean, I don't mind this hiccup in my presentation. Yeah, let me just cancel that. Let's. Oh, I did duplicate it. So I did duplicate. Good. Happy. I'm happy about that. So let's do the export. So the export is a thing that you guys use a lot. So let's see how it works on the. Let's go to. Let me delete this first. It's deleting items and. So yeah, we can evaluate the deleting as well. Let me see how that's going to delete. After it loads. Okay, I'll open it another time. Yeah, let's go back to trying the export. So we have export of 1,257 items. So if we go to here, oh, it finally did it here. Custom module delete. So we click, of course, we click it here first, click export. We don't close this tab. We see the progress starting here. And we click the export here. And we see the progress starting here. And let's see how it does. Okay, it's now ready here on version 6. And those of you who are working with the export a lot, you probably know how it takes in version 5. Okay, so I use PayPal a lot, so I use the reports there. How it works with PayPal, it actually sends me an email whenever it's ready, and sometimes it takes hours. And I don't, like I use Pay every month, and I just generate the reports of every month for every month, like for the last 30 days. And it's about the same amount of data that I get, and it takes hours. So, and with version 6, you probably seen that it took about several seconds, basically. You see, I have it. Yeah, this is it. This is the Excel file 676. Okay, regarding the front end speed, you probably wonder. I'm not going to show you the front end speed. You will evaluate yourself, and I actually would like to hear your feedback on it. I can show you one little page that we played with just to test some load speed. So there's a test page, I think, yeah. You probably remember BC used to have the limit of 500 items, rendering 500 items on the page. So we didn't give that limitation even with the previous version, but with the version 6, rendering a large amount of items on a single page would be even faster. So if we let's go to network. Yeah. So we have, on this page, we have 3,753 items. So if we load it, so this is the time that that it took to respond from the server. From what I hear from the team, it's not the final number. It's going to be even better. So this is how much time it took to load from the server, and this is what my computer took to render it. So on the front end, we expect a lot of a big improvement, a big leap forward, and would like to hear your feedback on how things gonna work for you on the front end part. Now let's go back to some features and bonuses that also came with the new infrastructure. If we go to pages, again, there's a little UI, but it's just making us ready for their entering the general market of CMSs. So we probably remember we had this little mess here with the breadcrumbs. So if you go to first, for some reason, it's called page. Well, there's a heavy reason behind that. Now it's been finally renamed pages and blogs and those kind of inconsistencies. And we did fix the breadcrumbs. We also added that to the detail layout. I'll show you that. So we moved extra title. We also have a search now for all modules for the tree view. So if you type in, so we didn't have a search here, as you can see. And so we have click about. We don't have to click enter. It just loads. If we click test, if we type test. So these are the pages, and we also have filter to show enabled and disabled items. And again, it's for system modules and for custom modules as well. And we have a pagination here. So let's go to some page. Oh yeah, by the way, we have bulk assignment of pages, of items to a template. So you can apply any existing template to a number of pages now. So a little extra UI. Module introductory note. I think it was in some editions, maybe here. Yeah, so we have a note here now, so you can add notes for your customers. I think it has merged from Alex Bell, the idea. Personally, I like that. I built some sites for my friends and on our platform, so that would help me to explain things. So the note goes in here, so there's an extra field in the settings. Now let's go back to pages. I'll show you a little some changes we have on the detail layout. Let's go to about. We got a new WYSIWYG. We actually purchased a license, an enterprise license for the new WYSIWYG. It's called Ferala, if you're interested. And with it, so it's updated, it's better looking, it's faster. With it, we also fixed more than 10 bugs and improvements that you guys requested and reported. So it wasn't in the public backlog. It was just in our internal list. So Eugen Panchenko, I think he's here. So he was able to squeeze that in and deliver that with the new WYSIWYG. And it's not using jQuery, so it's vanilla JavaScript. They call it. And this the jQuery used to cause some compatibility issues with Nice Editor, now called On-Site Editor, and we were finally able to fix those since we're using straight vanilla JS. And also uploading SVG files is now possible. And overall, it's just better looking. Now, the first bonus that we have here is for developers. It's been requested. So we have everything in line. Oops. So if we have everything in line, but you want everything to be in format, organized into code format, you click this button and it all gets organized. As far as I remember, it's a #1 feature in the public backlog, and especially now in the migration season, it's extremely it's necessary for some people. Oh, it's #2. Okay, so it's #2. So this is going to be moved to this release. We have another bonus for you guys, and it's also coming from Eugen. It's the file manager. So again, it's making developers' life even better. So yeah, leave the page. Yeah, let's compare it to previous version. It's rainy. So we did optimize the space a little bit. So if we go to content templates, and let's open several files. And as you can see, they can be open within. They're open within tabs. We can shrink this down now, and so you can work in those simultaneously. Now, yeah, if you type something in and then try to move. Okay, yeah. If you move to another folder, for example, or even if you leave the file manager, let me try that. But I'm almost certain. Oh, you haven't saved pages. Okay, let me click back to edit. Let me remove this. Let me click save. So basically, it's not going to allow you to leave without saving. But if you have everything saved, but you have these files open, but you want to go to blogs and fix something and then return to file manager, you'll be able to click back to edit, and you have all your tabs back in the same order. So you can continue to work on your code. And my file manager also has a list of bug fixes and improvement that's been requested by community and hasn't been inside has been in our public backlog. Okay, so we have some messages in the chat. Will there be any major changes to front-end component call syntax? Well, Vlad will correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, and it was discussed in the very beginning, there are not going to be any changes except of improvements and new things within the new infrastructure. Am I getting that, Vlad? Any syntax changes, call syntax changes?
Yeah, I write it down a little way earlier, but
yeah. Component will remain the same. Yes. Okay. Also, a thing to notice that we're testing version 6 starting March 3rd. So it's not a fresh thing. It's been here for like more than a month and a half. It's been in a heavy testing mode. We have 2 QAs testing the newer version, and it requires a lot of testing, and but it's good. It's been doing great with what we have already. Shouldn't duplicating a custom module also duplicate the items within it? No, that's not how people use the duplication, as far as I know. So people have custom module built and they want to build an analog and with a different content, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. How about conflicts between code editor and WYSIWYG? Vlad, can you comment on that?
It would be better to ask Eugene about this.
Hi everyone. All conflicts that we know, we try to fix and resolve these issues. But if you know or see some conflicts in future, we will send feedback to me on Slack, and I try to resolve this.
Okay, great. As far as I understand, since we don't use jQuery anymore and we operate with the plain JavaScript code, we can easily fix those things, conflicts, any conflicts, and make improvements much easier than we used to before. So now let's talk about the delivery. We will, as you remember, we decided to release version 6 with the in 3 stages. So the stage 1 would be creation of new trial site, the blank sites, the blank instances from scratch. Oh, and by the way, it's going to happen much faster. So the deployment of sites will be much faster, and the upstart. So as you probably, if you remember, the upstart is all trial sites are operating on the server for 1 hour after the first user visits it, whether it's an admin or a front end, and then it goes back to sleep, as we call it. So in order to wake it up, to call an upstart, any visitor should go visit any page on the website. So, and it used to take up to a minute. And there were some complaints from Treeple partners that, we send a trial site, we send a link to a trial site to a customer for the website that we're working on, but and they open it like 2 hours later when the website is in sleep. So, and they click on the link and it can load like up to a minute because it upstarts on our server. So we did that to optimize the resources in the server, which is a typical practice. So with version 6, it's that the upstart will take up to 10 seconds from the initial test that we did. So that should improve your experience, yours and your customer experience. So regarding the delivery. So as much as I want to deliver it right now, and I'm ready to, we have to listen to the team, and so we're waiting for the QA team to give us a green light. Said, okay, we can now start with that. Things that we're finishing with right now is the custom properties. So there's like a separate optimization piece because Vlad, remember that project that uses most custom properties than we have ever seen? How many custom properties is in single item?
Oh, I guess it's like several hundreds. I don't remember. Two or 300 of items or of properties.
We've seen some. There's no other word that call it like an abuse of custom properties, and it's not one partner. So people build amazing things with people that we would have never thought of. So and these we saw those things come. Back in 2020, we understood the requirements that we may have for the platform from what we see you guys building on. So there's a optimization piece for the custom properties that Igor is finishing right now, and also another thing we're working on is BC to Treepl app to migrate things to migrate website from BC to the infrastructure. So the entire transition would be smooth for you. So it's gonna be the first trial. Stage one is a trial site. You're gonna be able to create new instances, play with it, work with it. And within a week or two, we're gonna update the trial sites. And the live sites will be updated in batches. So we're gonna do that in some period of time. So there's not gonna be a fixed schedule. So there's an entire testing process built for that. I'm not going to go into details, but it promises a very smooth transition. So if you're wondering if you have to hold with migration or activations, or vice versa, you have to activate sites in the newer version on the older version, and then just wait for an update to a live website because it's going to receive the most tested version. There's no better solution. So I just recommend you keep with the pace that you have. It's going to happen gradually on the background, and it's promising to be very smooth. We did have some infrastructure updates in the server. So thanks to Val, and he's been doing great. And we're leveraging his experience as much as we can, and he's been managing servers with tens of millions of users, simultaneous users. So he's been doing very great and doing some serious upgrades for us for the new stack of technologies as well. So this is everything that I had for today, and if you have any questions, open to that.
Well, Alex, I think that looks amazing. The speed improvements in the admin look phenomenal. So yeah, it's going to be a real joy to use, I think. But yeah, I actually don't have any questions. I'm like, everything looks great. So anyone else questions? I just want to use it.
You're probably going to charge someone to use it. Yeah. We want on the front end. We really would like to get a meeting or something. We really want to hear your feedback on the front end part.
Sure.
So just to clarify, 6 won't be delivered on the 20th. Can we request a trial set upgrade earlier? So what the team reports to me is that they want to release the new instances for just the new sites that are created, the blank instances. So they want to release that next week. So all existing trial sites, live sites will remain on 5.9.5. So then within 2 weeks after the blank instances are released, so stage 1, we call it, we will update the trial site. It may be in batches. So we may allow requesting trial sites upgrade for on demand for those who will play with blank sites, and they will basically will have reasoning for their trial sites to be updated. I think we can do that. So as always, we're available in Slack, and yeah, we can definitely figure something out.
James, this is me demanding 6 for that site today.
Yeah, is the V3 reCAPTCHA upgrade on the secure zone logins form still happening? Yes, it's going to happen with version 6. We're not going to force it on live. We're just going to give a little extra time. so far the solution that we have in place, it's been working, and we're not going to have an extra release for mandatory reCAPTCHA.
Again, me demanding version 6 child site today. James, thanks.
Okay. Well, you have to. Well, you know what? They're at when Europeans ask for something like that, they usually offer a beer or something. Probably because they're just not too far away.
The Australian economy is, I'll owe you a carton. So I'm happy to go for a beer economy.
Well, I heard that you guys have some great wine there. Some fun wine.
Do. We have some amazing alcohol. Not sure how much shipping will be, but I can work on a beer economy.
Okay, well, I don't know if Lynn here, but we have a partner that's been a long time client of ours. So after several very successful deliveries, he promised us a box of very fine wine. And in fact, one of the customers was a winery that we did the website for us. So he's promised that us for years. So and then he promised even more wine, and then he said he had issues with shipping. So in the end of the day, so what we ended up with, he sent us money, and we just went and bought every Australian wine possible in a supermarket or somewhere, in several supermarkets, and we just had an Australian wine party. So yeah, that was kind of fun. I will, if you guys want to play with it, I'll let the team know. Yeah, and they hear that, so I got the message. So you want to play with the V6 as soon as possible, even if it has some few things, if it doesn't have the migration app working. Got it.
Yes, I just have one client that I really want it for.
Yeah, I think a lot of you may have that one client.
I've been holding them off this entire time.
I also, there's one thing that I must mention. Well, thank you for patience, because really one of the things is that one of the challenges that we had that I personally had when we made a decision to go with the new stack of technologies is that I understand that there are going to be some issues for partners, because we can deliver another performance update, we can deliver more features, or we can deliver this new stack of technologies. So it's whether we upset the partners a little bit in the short term, but make them happier in the long term. So we took that choice. And honestly, if you remember that curve on the complexity, moving to a new stack of technologies could have been impossible, because the websites are getting bigger, more complex, and just migrating from the older version to newer version is just impossible. So that was a tough business decision, but I'm very thankful to the community for holding those clients that had issues and were patient. As far as I know, we didn't lose anyone. So because of those performance issues, as far as I know, which is great. Yeah, so thank you guys. Oh, Andy has 4 of these clients. Gotcha. Okay, we'll put you on the hot list as well.
Alex, there's a question there from Tim just further up about public APIs, like opening up the APIs. Is there any opportunity there for the new?
Yeah, well, everything is everything from now on. Everything is on the list. So we're gonna have after we release the version 6, I have a task of publishing a schedule for all the Business Catalyst equivalent features and all highly requested features like Zapier integration, for example. So, and we're going to have that schedule published for the until October. So we have new developers going through training right now, and they should be done after we release the version 6. So they may add up to the team and help us to deliver things faster. So if you're waiting for features first, like for example, abandoned cart, if you're looking for that prior to migrating to Treeple, I'd suggest to migrate the website, have it already done as a trial site. And once the feature is released, you take it live. So instead of starting the migration process after the feature is available. So yeah, so we, after we release the version 6, public API and all other BC equivalent features will be posted in a public backlog schedule under in process tab. Red wine from Barossa Valley, South Australia. I'll take a note of that. Oh, by the way, regarding the multi-threading, it's a thing that you may use in your presentations. Well, if you take platforms like our competition, like WordPress, like Mainstream, or even like indie platforms like Craft CMS, for example, it's practically impossible to create multi-threading in the CMS, because just PHP doesn't offer that out of the box as .NET 5 does. I doubt, like 99% sure, I doubt that any platform from the top 10 list is capable of multi-threading. So this means that you can get will be some significant advantage of this in the speed, that you can use in your presentations. And, yeah. What kind of opportunities will the new stack give us in the future? Well, the GraphQL analog. Do you want to hear about that, or you want? That's one of the things that developers will get. It's similar to module data in BC. Vlad, can you explain the opportunity that would come with it?
So this was an analog of GraphQL. We are looking to improve add to every our component an ability to select any data that you want and filter in any way. So basically to build a query to retrieve data, and additionally to just link them together in order to get pull a lot of data, linked data via the single component. So, for example, if you want to get the module that has data source to another module, and that module has data source to, for example, contact, and you want to retrieve it in the one query, then you will have this ability, and it will not hit the performance. And that will allow to build custom solutions based on that.
I see another great question. Well, I see a pack of good questions. Can we use Treeple like headless CMS in future using GraphQL? It's coming from anyway. Well, that's a very good question. It opens up. It actually triggers a bigger question. What is Treeple in the first place? So this is the question I asked myself. If you remember, do you guys watch the movie Social Media about the Facebook? So when there's a point when the Facebook started to go up, and they ask Justin Timberlake, I think, yeah, the guy who Justin Timberlake plays. He asked, "What is Facebook?" He asked Mark Zuckerberg, "What is Facebook?" And Mark answers, "We don't know. We know it's something very cool. We know it's cool, but we don't know what it is yet." So this is the same thing I feel about Treeple. I lost myself in the research of the CMS market, honestly. I tortured the team about the technical reports of our competitors. And just to understand where we are. So thing is, And actually, this whole nightmare helped me to choose the new stack of technologies, because we can maximize the platform at the maximum scale possible with the new stack of technologies. So, okay, I'm good with that. This means that we can take the very best opportunities of the market, but we just don't know those opportunities yet. So this is the question about the headless CMS and whether we may become one. We're gonna ask ourselves that question after the business catalyst invite. So we're definitely gonna involve top partners. So we're gonna, I have a lot of ideas I'd like to throw at partners and see what they're gonna throw back. And so we're gonna discuss that process. For now, we know it's very cool. There's some things need to update, to deliver, and there's a BC EoL. There's a lot of websites coming that will be coming to the platform within the next 4 months. We still have people joining the Treeple as agencies. We had 2 agencies join us this month, and these are like from free users to agencies right away, because they just have too many websites and they need to be able to migrate before end of life. So we focused on that first. But about this, we're gonna come back to it in October. Will the migration process speed up also? Yes, it will dramatically speed up, like dramatically. Will the multi-threading aspect speed up the current e-commerce engine in V6? That's a good question. So we started with the hardest. So multi-threading will be in Liquid. So Liquid will be leveraging multi-threading. I doubt that even Shopify is using multi-threading in Liquid, knowing how long it's been. So most likely, Liquid and Treeple will be faster than Liquid and Shopify, which is great. So, and then we're going to expand it to modules. Oh, it's already there. No. Yes, so the e-commerce is a module. It's using Liquid, so it will affect the e-commerce, of course. Wait, you're giving us a great GraphQL access. Well, that's what Vlad was planning in the very beginning. And if you remember that happy face he had with those 2 papers, that was already in there with some other stuff. Well, Andy, about the request, I have 2 significant BC sites for build to do that have unique requirements that are currently not possible in Treeple. I'm reluctant to start rebuilds unless I can be sure the features will be available. How can we resolve this? You have to give us the, we need to know those limitations that you have, and at least we can give you like some dates or whether we're planning to do those upgrades in the nearest future. So definitely can review those, that's for sure. Can expect a feature when we can place custom fields in pages or any other module. Well, that's custom fields. I don't know how to answer that one, because we make custom fields for available for custom modules, so people buy bigger plans. So it's more of a business questions, I guess. Craig's question. You mentioned the ability to host your own data, but access via Treeple. Could you expand on that if I understood correctly? Yeah, so this is our know-how, basically, that we discussed with several partners. So there's a challenge about the sensitive data. Some of it's not really sensitive, but the client doesn't want their certain type of data to be hosted anywhere other than his server or even his computer in his house. And also there's like those regulations, there are limitations and regulations, HIPAA compliance. So some really sensitive data from the patients. And in order to become a HIPAA compliant, you have to be, it's worse than PCI compliance. It will put a lot of pressure on you and bureaucracy on the product and on the development process. So the solution we had in mind, that what if we create a connection, like what if we build a database the way that you can connect to a remote database to pull data from it and render it on the website. So for example, if you go to the admin, if you go to CRM, you click on settings and you type in the information, the authentication information for your database, and we'll give the instruction. And it's going to pull it for the admin and from the front end. We'll pull it from whatever server you have, and will not physically store it on Treepl's server and within Treepl's database. So Treepl would just be like an engine, a rendering engine for the data that you physically store. So this is the idea we had about the remote database. We haven't heard about this, anyone's offering that, and it seems like it can solve it may give us some serious advantages for bigger clients and for clients that are that care about their data a little more than others. Okay, guys, any other questions? Okay, we'll call it a day then, and thank you, guys. We'll see. We may see some of you in 10 hours or so, and we'll see you all in Slack and forum, and seems like we're gonna have a lot of fun soon.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks very much, Alex. Looks really exciting. Well done. And well done to the team too. Good work.
Awesome. See you guys.
All right. See you later.